In the heart of Tecoloca, San Vicente, El Salvador, stands a structure designed to be a definitive statement against a nation's violent past. Opened in January 2023, the Centro de Confinamiento del Terrorismo, or CECOT, is not merely a prison, it is a symbol. With a capacity for 40,000 inmates, it ranks among the largest carceral facilities in the Americas. It embodies President Nayib Bukele's audacious war on gangs, a strategy that has dramatically reshaped El Salvador's security landscape, but at a cost that remains intensely debated by human rights observers globally. This facility, however, is not just about its size, it's about its purpose. To understand CECOT, one must first grasp the depth of the crisis it was built to address. For decades, El Salvador was synonymous with extreme violence, held captive by powerful transnational gangs like MS-13, or Mara Salvatrucha, and Barrio 18. These groups controlled vast territories, extorting businesses and committing homicides with impunity. In 2015, the nation recorded an alarming 103 homicides per 100,000 people, making it one of the most dangerous countries globally, according to data from the World Bank. The pervasive fear shaped daily life, stifling economic development and eroding public trust in institutions. The state's reach was limited, the gangs was absolute. In March 2022, President Nayib Bukele declared a state of emergency, granting authorities sweeping powers to combat the gangs. This measure suspended several constitutional rights, including freedom of assembly and the right to be informed of reasons for arrest, allowing for mass detentions without immediate warrants. Since then, over 80,000 suspected gang members have been arrested, a figure cited by the Salvadoran government itself. Supporters, including a significant majority of the Salvadoran populace, argue these drastic measures were essential to reclaim the country from criminal control. They point to an undeniable outcome, a dramatic fall in the nation's homicide rate, offering a glimpse of peace. CECOT is the physical manifestation of this zero-tolerance policy. Designed for maximum security, the facility boasts 19 watchtowers and a formidable 1.2-mile perimeter wall, fortified with electric fences. These features, according to government statements, are intended to make escape virtually impossible and to send an unequivocal message to those within. As of June 2024, approximately 12,000 inmates were housed there. The interior consists of large cells, each designed to hold between 80 to 100 inmates. These cells, measuring roughly 100 square meters or 1,076 square feet, are equipped with only a few toilets and 2 sinks, with metal bunks reportedly for some, but not all, occupants. Conditions inside CECOT are reportedly severe. Inmates are held in what human rights groups describe as extreme isolation. There is no contact with family members, no access to books, no religious services, and no personal belongings are permitted. Reports from organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch suggest a stark environment designed to break any sense of gang solidarity. Lack of direct sunlight and fresh air within cells are frequently cited concerns. While some areas are designated as exercise yards, it is unclear if all inmates have access to them. The regimen prioritizes absolute control and deterrence above all else, as stated by government officials. Despite its perceived success in curbing gang violence, CECOT and the broader state of emergency policies have drawn sharp criticism from international human rights organizations. Groups like Amnesty International have condemned the situation as involving massive human rights violations, highlighting arbitrary detentions and a severe lack of due process. The United Nations Human Rights Office has also expressed serious concern regarding the conditions in Salvadoran prisons under the current policies, specifically mentioning the potential for widespread abuses given the sheer scale of arrests and the suspension of legal protections. These concerns underscore a fundamental tension between security and individual liberties. The allegations extend beyond conditions to claims of severe abuse and even death. As of February 2024, at least 219 people had died in state custody since the state of emergency began in March 2022, according to reports compiled by human rights groups. While it's unclear how many of these deaths occurred specifically within CECOT, the figure highlights a systemic issue across the prison system. Furthermore, widespread incredible reports of torture have emerged from human rights organizations, citing accounts from former detainees and their families. These allegations, if substantiated, represent a grave departure from international legal standards, even in the context of combating violent crime. Yet, these grave concerns exist alongside a profound shift in El Salvador's security. The government proudly cites a drastic reduction in homicides, from 103 per 100,000 people in 2015 to an estimated 2.4 per 100,000 in 2023, according to official government statistics. This figure, if accurate, makes El Salvador one of the safest countries in Latin America. For many Salvadorans, this newfound peace is a welcome respite, leading to over 90% approval ratings for President Bukele's security policies in some polls. The choice, for them, is stark: endure gang rule or accept unprecedented state power. The narrative surrounding CECOT and El Salvador's war on gangs is deeply bifurcated. On one side, a government and its citizens celebrate the return of peace and security after decades of terror. On the other, human rights advocates warn of a dangerous precedent, sacrificing fundamental constitutional rights and due process for order. The sheer scale of CECOT, with its thousands of inmates, many awaiting trial or detained without clear evidence, stands as a monument to this complex and often contradictory reality. The world watches to see if El Salvador's radical approach can truly sustain long-term peace without undermining the very foundations of justice and human dignity.